Have you been charmed by this Parisian girl aesthetic that you can see all over the social media, on the YouTube videos, even in magazines? This myth of Parisian girl, of a French girl, this natural but put together, red lipstick, basket, little, cardigan, having, carrying a baguette, or even going further, Emily in Paris, head to toe in designer brands, all the colors of the world that possibly you can put in one outfit, and high heels. You walk on those Parisian pavements all the time in like super extra high heels, bold makeup, and then just add some beret. Well, if you believe in that all the French people, French girls, Parisian girls especially, are wearing that kind of things every day, well, you're sold. This myth, this aesthetic was sold to you, and it succeeded. Hi, I'm Patty. I lived in Paris. I lived in Paris many years, and even before that, as a child, I spent lots of time in France, not only in Paris. And always when I see this look of a French girl or Parisian girl, it makes me laugh. Or if I watch a TV series or film made by Americans, how they present Paris, I'm just... it's just so funny. Emily in Paris. No, girls do not dress like that in Paris. Most of the time, if I saw somebody dressing like that, that would be a person who's a tourist. It's definitely not a Parisian, not French person. I'm not saying I'm like a super expert, but definitely this is just an illusion. It is sold to us, not only the look of a Parisian girl, but as well the myth of Paris, that it should look like this and this, city of love, art, decadence. The architecture is really nice and I appreciate it, and I love walking in Paris. Definitely, I think it's a better walk if you like enjoying walking, just like mindlessly walking. It's better in Paris than London. It's less tiring, definitely, but still there's illusion and there's reality. Maybe you're familiar with the term Parisian syndrome. It's the syndrome that occurred mostly within like Japanese people. I lived in Asia before, in Hong Kong and in Tokyo. And this vision about France and Paris stays strong. So if you live in Tokyo, you've seen many like little shops, boutiques, or like bakery stores that they take some random names that they should sound French, and they give a name for their bakery or like sweet shop, and means absolutely nothing, but it has this Parisian vibe, French Parisian vibe. It sells a lot. The vision, how Paris is presented, is very specific, and it's this kind of dreamy illusion that when many Japanese people arrived to Paris and they saw the reality of the city, that is not the city of love. People are not like super nice, and even like they don't wear Dior from top to bottom, and the city is quite dirty, let's just face it. They had a shock, They opened kind of like a clinic that was treating this type of patients with a Parisian syndrome, and I think it was located somewhere near Notre Dame. Correct me if I'm wrong. You could just go there, and there was a person who could just talk with you and, help you to ease that first shock of Paris not being what you expect it to be. If we're going to the look of a Parisian French girl, even Parisian and French content creators, nowadays, I think they're becoming more transparent. And I saw a video of one content creator. I think she's a model. She's based in Paris. She's French. And she made this video in years like 2015, 16, 18, 19. She was creating that kind of content of this Parisian girl, baguette, the dresses, the beret, this makeup, a little basket, because that was popular on social media, that got her clicks. And that's what people were expecting from Parisian girl to show about Paris, about France. More and more people are becoming more transparent, especially when they're creating for non-French audience. That's a little bit different content than for French people, because French people, Parisian people, they know the reality definitely more. So if you meet French people and you talk about Emily in Paris, probably they would enjoy it, because remember, it's a TV show, so it's for amusement, for aesthetics, etc. It's not the real world. But still they will laugh, because this is not the real life, right? There are many things that's completely ridiculous in Emily in Paris. This idea that, oh, you can work basically without visa and hopping between jobs just because you have American passport. Well, that's not the case. If a French girl doesn't look like portrayed as in, let's say, Emily in Paris or in social media, how does she look like? We can go back a little bit in the history of fashion. Let's just stay in the 20th century, okay? Like in between the wars, between the First World and Second World War, you know, there's a big revolution in women's fashion. You know, get rid of corset, there's Coco Chanel, girls chopping their hair, very boyish type of hairstyle. Post-war, we've got Dior, we've got those very elegant, like cloche dresses. Then happened something that is quite important and quite significant, in my opinion, for this look, natural look, and very like not too flashy of a French girl or Parisian girl, was migration. It started in the 1950s. Post-war migration, 1950s. Many people from ex-French colonies, from the Caribbean, from the North Africa, started to come to France. They were bringing also their culture, their looks, how they dress up, how they put their makeup, their cuisines. And that had a huge effect as well on the French fashion, but not as you might think. Majority of those looks were very colorful. They were coming from the cultures that there were patterns, there were colors on the clothes. The makeups were maybe like bolder. French decided to distinguish themselves, to separate themselves from this new wave of migrants. Hence, the look, the materials, the makeup started to be toned down. So it definitely was not like 18th century France. Okay, it became more subtle, more like au naturel, less, you know, like vivid colors were used, or like more like monochrome, okay? So not all the patterns and colors at the same time in one outfit. It's today what we think about French fashions, not too much at the same time and very simple. If you've got some element, colorful element, more like bolder element, or some patterns, that would be usually one or two nicely aligned. It wouldn't be like too much. It wouldn't be too much jewelry. For example, like if you think about India and Indian fashion, that's a lot. There's gold, there are colors, there's lots of jewelry, stronger makeup. France, it was completely different. The complete opposite, and it still stays strong. Migrations in the 1950s to France of these other cultures had a huge effect actually on the French fashion. But the barrier, like, no, we are like real true French people and they are the others. Was it a good move? Well, you know, answer for yourself, but that definitely had an effect of this natural, more monochrome look of a Parisian French girl. Nowadays, the French look that is real, okay, that you can find walking in France, walking in Paris, they literally look quite normal, regular. There's nothing super, you know, outstanding. And as I mentioned before, there are no haute couture dresses, outfits from top to bottom. Don't be afraid to come to Paris and think like, oh, it would look weird or odd or too simple. No, that's not the case. They dress up quite normal. Globalization, I think everything is just evens out, and then it's just like a more of preference in a certain culture of going like this or like this or like this. French women, I'd say, choose toned down colors. Everything is nice and match. That doesn't mean that they would not choose something red or pink or yellow. They would, but it wouldn't be like all over the place. Or a lot of those elements. They'll be like more like toned down, monochrome. I would say, white, brown t-shirt and jeans. That could be totally your outfit when you go for a party. That's it. Or some mini skirt. Same with hair. Hair quite often is promoted and pushed to be this natural hair, kind of like I just woke up and just like brush with my fingers and I'm ready to go. It should look like, effortless. Same with makeup, not too much makeup, a little bit of mascara, a little bit of blush, a little bit of, tinted lips, liner here and there. But this is it. Not too much of the foundation. Skin has to look like very natural. Do French women dye their hair? That depends, okay? So this is very, I would say, individual. Some yes, some no. I wouldn't say this is like a case that they don't dye their hair. They do. Some they do. It's personal preferences. It's more about the texture and how they wear it day by day. It's not like completely like, for example, super straight, styled, and basically your hairstyle doesn't move and stays in one place. No, the hair usually like live with their own life. It's opposite to this look, because this look is more like promoted by Paris or like north of France. But if you go to the south, there is this term that's called cagoule. If you don't know, it means like very bold, shouty woman. Usually, originally, it's referred to women in the south, around Marseille. For me, this character in Swimming Pool, I think the film is like from 2002 or 2003. There's this young girl. It's like a Y2K fashion as well going on. But she's this kind of, you would call her probably somebody from the north might call her cagoule. I put the picture here. How she looks like, to give you an idea. Yeah, so there is a distinction a little bit between north and the south, but south depends, we're not talking Cannes, Saint-Tropez, talking about more like Nice, Marseille mostly. So that's a different look, okay? If you're going for this French look, that would be, as I said before, natural tones, simple fabrics, simple, hairstyle, not very like super strictly put together, a touch of makeup, and you're ready to go. I'd say if you're looking for some inspiration in actresses, they scream France, for sure is Sophie Marceau. For decades now. When I think Sophie Marceau, I think France and French woman. Camille Cottin, another good example. She's also rocking this French effortless look. And I also recommend a TV series with her, which is called Call My Agent. This TV series talks about the agents that work like a star agency. So they are managing actors and actresses. If you want to look how actually people dress up in this kind of agency environment, because there's also marketing, don't look at Emily in Paris, look at Call My Agent. This is a French TV series. It's available on Netflix, and I think it's really, really good. It shows how people actually dress up, and also like how the Paris look or south of France, because they're going to south of France in some episodes, Cannes Festival. It's very nice, it's funny, it's French. Still keep in mind the TV show, but definitely is more real than other things out there. Another example of a French girl look. Melanie Laurent, I think she was in Inglorious Bastards. Léa Seydoux, you know her from James Bond movies. So Marion Cotillard, again, famous in the West. Leila Bekti, again, I really like her look. These are the women who, for me and in my opinion, they represent real France and France fashion and how French women nowadays dress up, they look. You can see that there's not too much if you compare it to other cultures. As you can see, to sum up, the French style that we see now, and the real one, and the real Parisian girl, the real French girl, it's just like a blend, like a mixture of historical event, kind of a cultural identity to distinguish themselves from the others. So remember, as much as it's praised for being this natural, fresh, toned down colors, also remember why was it made, why the change, why this culturals. And obviously nowadays globalization, so we've got access to different looks, to different cultures. We are encouraged to embrace different cultures, but still I think a French, this natural toned down look stays strong. And it is sold all over the place, a little bit pimped up. Let's face it, a little bit pimped up. Most important is just to realize that not always what you see is the real life. It's the aesthetic, it's the dream, sometimes the illusion. Just be aware and don't believe everything that you see. That's it.